This is my 5-inch tom project. So I went to Home Depot and I got a 4-inch coupler, which actually is 5-inch because it's designed to take a 4-inch pipe on the inside of this. That's what that lip is. So you could take 2 pieces of pipe and put them in each side, and then they butt up against each other. So it's a 4-inch coupler with the external dimension you can clearly see is 5 inches. So I took the 3 last lugs I had from my $1 TomTom and I mounted them in a triangle configuration on top of this. It's very sturdy. It's not going to have a bottom head, it's only going to have a top head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 13-inch leftover pearl drum head, I'm going to place it on top of this, and I'm going to go to the hardware store and try to find 2 thin rings that are 5 to 6 inches in diameter. So 5-inch inner diameter, 6-inch exterior diameter. I'm going to press those together on both sides of the drum head, and then I'm going to drill 3 little pilot holes. I'm going to crank it down with 3 sets of screws. And once I've got that, then I'm going to drill 3 other holes for the lugs. And then I'm just going to crank that down, and the drum head is going to be its own rim. So it's a floating drum head with a rim on it. And that should tighten it enough for me to be able to play it. So after I get all that built and working, then I'll do like before with the 6.5-inch tom that I made. And I'll take all this hardware off and paint it and make it look nice. So this is part 1. Okay, so here's update number 1 on my little drum. I bought 2 flanges from the hardware store. It cost me 20 bucks. And they're coupled together. And what you do is you put 3 screws through the flanges and tighten them down so that the flanges are tightened over the drum head. And then you take the drum flanges and seat them over the piece of pipe and put your 3 drum lugs in. And luckily these flanges had 6 holes in them, which is awesome. So I tightened it down and it sounds like a drum. I'm hitting it with my fingers so you can't hear it ring, but now I'm going to cut the excess drum head off. And I had to put little pilot holes through the drum head to get these screws through. So when I cut the X-Acto blade around this, it'll look more like a drum with a top hat kind of rim on it. Okay, so I've cut the drum head off, and here's my drum pre-paint. And it's got the oversized rim on it, and this is about a 5-inch tom. So it's going to go nicely with my 6.5-inch tom that I've got in there. I just got to figure out how to mount this thing now. And my son's going to hit it for you. Sounds good.
Alright, so for such a tiny drum, you almost need some tiny drumsticks.
Show them those little drumsticks. Cool. So here's my final product. It's a 5-inch tom-tom. And I made this little rim from hardware at True Value. I painted this up. This was a 4-inch conduit adapter, which is actually 5 inches in external diameter. I took a 2-ply drum head that was pretty much thrashed, and I laid it there and cut around this flange. This flange I think cost me about, what, $15? I didn't put a bottom on this drum because it's so small that there's no way I could have mounted more than 1 set of hardware on this, but I got the Gibraltar tom mount on this, and you can see how small this drum is based on the tom mount. So tom mount was about, what, 12, 14 bucks. And then I got a tom clamp for about 16 bucks. I painted the shell up sparkle red. For some reason this pipe material, I painted it 3 times, and the paint has little strange waves in it, but it still looks good. Once I get on my kit, it won't stand out as that much different. So I'm gonna go mount this and show you what it sounds like. Hopefully it's a lot higher pitch than the 6.5 inch tom that I made. Okay, so I've mounted the new 5 inch tom next to the 6.5 inch tom, and they look like they're the same size, but they're not, because this flange has a bigger lip than this 6-inch drum. So I've not really tuned them that well so far, but I'm hoping because of the sheer size difference that the 5-inch will be higher pitched than the 6.5. So here we go, first test. That sounds great. Very happy with that. Okay, so I have, just like I showed in my other video where I showed how to put a black dot onto a drum head, even though this is a double ply drum head, if I have any issues with this drum head being fabricated and basically home cut, and it gets any divot in it or anything, I'm going to take another one of these 5-inch black dots and adhere it to this to give it a little bit more sturdiness. But I don't anticipate any trouble. Again, I'll have to figure this out over time. But as of now, I have 2 drums that I created from scratch and a snare that I restored. I also have a video on that one. And the snare is awesome. Double-headed side 6.5 inch tom that I made, and a 5-inch open bottom tom that I made. Alright, I'm going to take some pictures.